It's time to get the crystal ball out because today I'm going to be predicting each and every winner of the Victorian Autumn Group 1s, my early thoughts, my early selections. Let's get on with it. Some of these selections are single figures, some are double figures, so it's a nice blend. We're going to start with the upcoming Group 1 this Saturday at Caulfield, the Orr Stakes, 1400 metres weight for age, and the horse that all I've got at the moment is Mr. Brightside. He does look the best chance in the race at the moment. This is his record. He's almost won 50% of his races from 40 starts. It's just an unbelievable record. He doesn't look like he's slowing down after his great win at the end of last preparation in the Champions Mile. They stuck the blinkers on him that day, and that did the trick. Whether they stick it on him again on Saturday, I'm not sure. But if they do, I reckon he's going to be even harder to beat. So Mr. Brightside is the one I'm looking at in the Orr at the moment. The very next week is the Black Caviar Lightning Stakes, and I am with the favourite in that one as well, or current favourite in Switzerland. I was with this horse in the Coolmore Stud Stakes, and it was able to do the job for me, winning by 2 3/4 lengths. Won the Roman Consul very impressively before that. It's just going to get in with the 52 kilos. It's proven down the Flemington Straight. It's a good horse, and it's only going to carry 52 kilos. I know it's going to be against the older horses, but it's only going to carry 52 kilos. Karen McAvoy or someone like that's going to ride it, and I think it's going to win. Then we get to Blue Diamond Day, and in the Oakleigh Plate, this is my first sort of roughy, but I'm not too confident on Arkansas Kid. Now, he's $26. His record, well, it's not as good as your Switzerlands or your Mr. Brightsides. It says on Racing Australia that he's still been in work since the Supernova, so they haven't stopped. He loves fresh runs, like he really performs fresh. He's a winner at Caulfield before. So with those two things in mind, and the fact that he's got residual fitness, if he goes to the Oakleigh Plate first up, I just think at $26 it represents a bit of value in a wide open race. Then the Futurity Stakes, and I reckon Mr. Brightside should be winning that. It's pretty much the exact same as the Orr Caulfield Group 1 weight for age, 1400 metres, just that Mr. Brightside's going to be second up instead of first up. He won the race last year. I reckon he'll do it again this year. Mr. Brightside is the one I'm looking at in the Futurity. Then we get to the feature of that day, the Blue Diamond Stakes. It's $16 at the moment. Price tag is the one for me. Run against my Gladiola first up at Sandown, where it was doing the best work through the line. 1,000 metres looks short of this horse's best. Should go to the Prelude and be running very well. I think up to 1,200 metres, grand final, Anthony and Sam Friedman, Blue Diamond. I reckon it'll be ready to go. The fillies look way ahead of the Colts in Victoria. Shining Smile, I don't think, is even nominated for the Blue Diamond, so the Colts look very average this year. The fillies look superior. Now, whether something comes down from Sydney or not, I'm not sure. It was Lady of Camelot last year, and she almost won it. So if something comes down from Sydney, it probably is a big threat. But I think price tag at $16 is good value. The Australian Guineas is the next one. This is also a bit of a roughie at $26 for Roche. I was a big fan of this horse last preparation. I reckon he just needs a big track. He got that in the Carbine Club, but I don't think the race was run to suit. It was suited for Aliana. Now, Aliana could go to the Australian Guineas and bolt in, but should be $1.80 to do so. For Roche's $26. The Caulfield Guineas Prelude form usually stands up for the Australian Guineas, and I thought Feroce was the run of the race. Now, that Caulfield Guineas Prelude might not be the strongest, but I thought it was very good through the line. It ran a good race in the Caulfield Guineas despite the pattern being in its favour. And I think at $26, we'll see how it goes if it gets the Australian Guineas. Out of all the double-figure horses I've got here, this is probably my most confident one. In the Newmarket Handicap at $11, I like the look of Traffic Warden. Now, the last 2 years, Godolphin, James Cummings has trained the winners of the Newmarket Handicap. The past 2 years, 3-year-olds have won it, which have been Cylinder last year, knocking off Imperatriz, and In Secret the year before that with the lightweight. Traffic Warden is, I reckon, James Cummings' best sprinting 3-year-old that he's got. Broadsiding's probably his best 3-year-old, but I think best sprinting 3-year-old is Traffic Warden. So following the past 2 years of history, Traffic Warden looks to be a pretty good chance. He also follows a similar path to what Cylinder did. Cylinder was very good in the Golden Rose, getting beaten by a small margin, and then underperformed in the Coolmore Stud Stakes. That's what Cylinder did, and had a bit of an issue. I think it pulled up with a slow recovery or something. Traffic Warden did the same thing, but he pulled up with EIPH. And it was very good in the Golden Rose behind stablemate Broadsiding. So they look very similar, and $11, I reckon that's the way to go. The next one is the All-Star Mile. This race is now a Group 1. And I've got Mr. Brightside. I think he will win 3 in a row. He won the race in 2023. I reckon he can win it again in 2025. Unless something else stands up, I wish I win, 1,600 metres, bit of a query and all those types of horses. But Mr. Brightside, you can trust, he's consistent. I think he's the favourite at this early stage. I don't really know with the CF4 Futurity and All-Star Mile. Mr. Brightside looks the one, but that's just because he's always so consistent and always runs a good race. Not much else to say apart from I think Mr. Brightside will win 3 in a row to start his Autumn 2025 campaign. And the last 2 features I've got value picks. So in the William Reed, at $26, I don't mind the look of Stretton Angel. I reckon this horse will be peaking by the time if it goes to the William Reed, because I reckon it's going to be targeted at a race like the Goodwood over in Adelaide, because Philip Stokes loves targeting those Adelaide races. Stretton Angel, I like the form it possessed in the spring, only under half a length away from Right to Party in the Gilgai, and then it went to the Champion Stakes and Champion Sprint, and it was within a length of Sunshine in Paris, and also Right to Party on that day. So I think Stretton Angel is a good value pick for the William Reed. And lastly, the Australian Cup to be run at Flemington over the 2,000 metres at $26, Kovalika. Now this probably won't win, but if anyone remembers my early tips for like the Melbourne 2025 Melbourne Cup and Caulfield Cup video, I've tipped Kovalika for the Melbourne Cup. I reckon this horse can stand up in 2025. It ran in the Cox Plate last campaign. I know that's not the be-all and end-all, but the Cox Plate is the best race in Australia, in my opinion, or at least for its distance range, the 2,000 metres. And although it ran 6th, it's pretty good to run 6th out of those horses in the Cox Plate, only getting beaten by Via Sistina, Mr. Brightside, and Prognosis, Broadsiding, and there was probably one more in there as well that I'm forgetting, but I think that's good form. And this horse, big track, 2,000 metres like Flemington, I just think at $26, if it goes to the Australian Cup, it's going to run a race. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in to Salmonator's Crystal Ball look at the Victorian Group 1 features of the autumn for 2025. I think the best bet you can have out of this slot is Traffic Warden in the Newmarket. I think $11 looks insane value considering the past runnings of the Newmarket and the fact that Traffic Warden is a good horse just like Cylinder and In Secret the past 2 years. Thanks everyone for watching. Until next video, bye for now.